For over a decade, Lionel Messi dominated world football with a style so unique, so mesmerizing, that he wasn't just the best player in the world. He was a walking definition of what football could be. He turned defenders into statues, goalkeepers into helpless bystanders, and fans into lifelong worshippers. But just when it seemed like football might never see another like him again, a new force exploded onto the scene. Enter Kylian Mbappé, a speed demon with the confidence of a king and the numbers to back it all up. World Cup winner at 19, a goal machine by 20, the poster boy of modern football before he could legally rent a car in most countries. The debate has begun. If you take Messi at his absolute peak, say 2012 Messi, and pit him against prime Kylian Mbappé, the new age superstar, who wins? In the battle of two different generations, two styles, and two mindsets, we break it all down: pace, passing, finishing, dribbling, mentality, achievements, leadership, and legacy. This isn't just about who has more trophies or goals. This is about who you want on your team when everything's on the line. Let's find out. Many would argue Messi's prime stretched for years, but 2011 to 2012 was something else. 73 goals in one season. Ballon d'Or dominance. He was doing things nobody had seen before, and doing them with grace and humility. Mbappé might still be evolving, but between 2021 to 2025, he matured from a lightning-fast teenager into a complete forward. Back-to-back League One Golden Boots, World Cup final heroics, and a consistent goal tally that rivals the greats. While he hasn't hit 73 goals in a season, his influence is undeniable. Two peaks, two different versions of dominance. Messi was a magician who bent time and space with a left foot from another dimension. Mbappé? He's a weapon of mass destruction, blistering speed, ruthless finishing, and a confidence that screams, "I'm the future." Messi doesn't beat you with speed. He beats you with timing, vision, and geometry. He sees passes no one else even thinks of. His control in tight spaces is legendary. The way he glides past 5 defenders like they're cones in a training drill? Unreal. But most of all, Messi thinks faster than anyone else. He doesn't need to be physically imposing because his brain does the damage. He's not flashy for the sake of it, he's surgical. Mbappé is chaos with a purpose. His first 3 steps are enough to delete fullbacks from existence. His acceleration in open space is terrifying. He doesn't care if you're fast, tall, or strong. He'll outpace, outmuscle, and outscore you. But what makes Mbappé more than just an athlete is his sharp decision-making in the final third. He knows when to shoot, when to pass, and when to take over. So while Messi creates art, Mbappé delivers shock and awe. Messi had a complicated relationship with big games, especially with Argentina in his early years. But once that World Cup win came in 2022, the narrative changed forever. Copa America 2021, Finalissima 2022, and then the big one in Qatar. 7 goals, 3 assists, carried Argentina with the weight of a nation on his back. In club football, too many big game moments to count. Champions League finals, El Clásicos, Copa del Rey miracles. He might not always scream or shout, but he's always there when you need him. Mbappé at 19, he scored in a World Cup final. At 23, he scored a hat trick in another World Cup final. That alone puts him in an elite tier. And even when France lost in 2022, Mbappé nearly won the game single-handedly. His mentality is terrifying. He wants the pressure. He craves it. Mbappé might not have the same number of big club games as Messi, but he's proven that he shows up when it counts, especially on the world stage. Messi can play as a right winger, false 9, central attacking midfielder, or even deep-lying playmaker. His football IQ is arguably the highest the game has ever seen. You could drop him into any system, any country, and he'd still run the show. Mbappé thrives as a left winger cutting in or as a central striker. He's not as versatile as Messi, but he's improving. His off-the-ball runs, positioning, and pressing ability have evolved a lot since his Monaco days. Messi at Barcelona had Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Neymar, Suarez, an iconic team built to maximize his magic. At PSG, he had less synergy but still delivered. Mbappé had strong supporting casts too, at Monaco, PSG, and France. But unlike Messi, he hasn't always had systems tailored to him. At times, he's had to adjust more than Messi did in his prime years. Still, Mbappe's ability to perform no matter who's around him shows that he's not a product of the system. He is the system. We love to say, numbers don't lie. And in football, sometimes they really don't. But context matters too. Lionel Messi's prime stats in 2011 to 2012 season, games played, 60, goals scored, 73, assists, 32, Ballon d'Or winner and a Copa del Rey winner. That's 105 goal contributions in 60 games. Let that sink in. He didn't just score more than entire teams, he out-assisted their entire midfield too. That season was so far ahead of the curve, people still use it as the benchmark for individual greatness. Messi also had a pass completion rate in the high 80s, completed over 5 successful dribbles per game, and created around 3.6 chances per match. These aren't just superstar numbers, they're superhero numbers. Kylian Mbappe's best season so far was 2022 to 2023 season. Games played, 43, goals scored, 41, assists, 10, League One top scorer and World Cup Golden Boot winner. Mbappe's stats are phenomenal and would place him above nearly every other footballer in the world. But when compared directly to Messi's peak chaos in 2012, Mbappe's numbers fall short in quantity, but not necessarily in quality. Remember, Mbappé did this while sharing the pitch with Neymar and Messi. He wasn't the only attacking focus. Yet, he still led France in the World Cup and was the most lethal forward in Europe. The difference? Mbappé plays more vertical football, relying on space and movement, while Messi dictates play, constructs attacks, and finishes them. Trophies can't always define greatness, but in this case, they help frame the narrative. Messi's achievements by age 25, 2012, 3 times Champions League, 5 times La Liga, 2 times Copa del Rey, 3 times Ballon d'Or, FIFA Club World Cup, Olympic gold medal and most goals in a calendar year, 91 in 2012. He had already completed what most players dream of in their entire career, all before turning 26. Mbappé's achievements by age 25, 2024, 1 times FIFA World Cup, 5 times League One, multiple domestic cups, World Cup Golden Boot, most World Cup final goals in history, 4, and no Champions League trophy yet. Mbappé has arguably had a more explosive international career than Messi had at the same age. But at club level, he's still chasing the Champions League. He's won everything in France, but critics often point to League One's perceived lower level. Still, winning a World Cup at 19, scoring in 2 consecutive finals, and carrying France when it mattered most? That's elite-level legacy building. Messi inspired a generation of players, not just with goals, but with how he played. He redefined what it meant to be a small player in a physical sport. Kids everywhere grew up mimicking his left-foot dribbles, looking up to the shy boy from Rosario who let his football do the talking. He wasn't just a player. He became a movement. There's no Barcelona without Messi. There's no La Liga global boom without Messi. He carried the torch for beautiful football. Even his rivals respected him. Mbappé is already one of the most marketable, talked about athletes in the world. He's been on the cover of FIFA. He turned down Real Madrid when no one else would. He speaks to a younger generation of players who idolize pace, directness, and swag. Mbappé is football's modern megastar. Instagram followers, media pressure, political influence in PSG and now Real Madrid. He's handled it all like a seasoned veteran. But unlike Messi, whose legend was shaped by his quiet greatness, Mbappé's influence comes from being loudly dominant. Messi has been doubted for years, especially when it came to Argentina. And what did he do? He showed up in his 30s and delivered a World Cup, a Copa America, and silenced everyone. He didn't scream, he didn't punch his chest, he just played. His magic is built on consistency, loyalty, and pure love for the game. Mbappé, meanwhile, thrives in chaos. He wants the pressure. He talks the talk and walks the walk. When France needed a miracle in the 2022 World Cup final, he gave them one. 3 goals in a final. Who does that? No one. His magic is built on explosiveness, ambition, and confidence. Who wins in their prime? Here's the truth. There is no wrong answer, but there is a better one. If you're building a team to play one season of football, and you want guaranteed goals, trophies, and beautiful football, you go with prime Lionel Messi. He's the most complete attacking player ever. Vision, passing, finishing, dribbling, and football IQ that looks like it's from the year 3025. But if you're building a team to dominate for the next decade, disrupt defenders with raw speed, and hit teams on the break with killer instinct, you go with prime Kylian Mbappé. He is the modern version of Ronaldo Nazario, but possibly more durable, more calculated. The better footballer? The more athletic weapon? Mbappé. The more likely to break records in this new era? Mbappé. But the one you trust in a Champions League final with everything on the line? Still Messi. This isn't just a battle of players. It's a battle of eras. A battle of style. A battle of football's past versus its future. Messi reminds us why we fell in love with the game. Mbappé reminds us why we're excited for what's next. Maybe it's not about picking just one. Maybe the Real win is that we got to witness both.